Okay, just as a quick video update, I had a 10-gallon angled view aquarium in this spot, and unfortunately, I had a problem where the aqua clear filter, whose motor is outside the tank, was constantly. I'd come home and there was no water flowing in it, and unfortunately, my apartment complex, the power goes out briefly all the time, and that filter just does not self prime, which is the criticism of it. I absolutely love that filter. So anyway, I went out and put an Aqueon Quiet Flow 20, which is this filter, and unfortunately, this filter is absolutely amazing. But the problem is the intake tube. Even though I have two of them, and you see one of them I have short, one of them that I have long because it's telescoping. Even in the shortest setting, this filter's pump, as you can see, is inside the water, and it just kept digging into the sand. It was just too long for that odd-shaped tank. And I have been kind of itching to go to a 20-gallon anyway, and I needed a hospital tank, so I figured Memorial Day sale, I got this tank for $29, a 20 high, beautiful, and I'm going to use the 10-gallon angle view as a hospital tank. So I still held on to my filter, and this light's being replaced with a Hygger light that is much more of a full spectrum light that you can program and control the colors. That has slowly comes up in the morning, slowly goes out at night. Has blue lights, has basically every color. So that's coming, and then basically I'll have the 10-gallon angle view with this, which is a stock light for the angle view, and I'll have that which I can use as a hospital tank. So that's my plan there. So the tank is not going in the garbage. It's basically was a $90 tank. I think I got it for 60, but that's going to be my hospital tank in case I have any sick fish. I also have a 3-gallon nano tank. I used to have my shrimp in, and I have that one in the garage also. That could also be used as a hospital tank, depending on what kind of fish it is. But my electric blue ram had died with some kind of crazy parasite, and I had to treat the entire tank. Didn't work, but I realized I can't do that. So anyway, I kind of re-aquascaped. I use the same sand. This is UN Systems sand. I forgot what color this is, but anyway, UNS sand, and also the UNS planted substrate is underneath it. I didn't have enough, but basically I emptied out the substrate on the other tank, which obviously mixed it all together. But then I covered it with more, with basically more of regular fresh sand. So I do have a lot of nutrients under the sand for the plants. And then I changed out the pebbles with these cool gray rocks that I got at my local pet shop. I actually took a hammer and smashed them because they were much larger. And then I had bought online these little pieces of decorative slate. And listen, I know that that's a plastic tree trunk, but I just love that tree trunk. I actually put a plant on there. So hopefully it grows. It'll get algae on it, and it'll actually look really cool. And I don't know if you can see it, but there is a coolie. There are two coolie loaches hanging out in there. You can kind of see their body, and that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted some kind of cave for my fish. Anyway, I did not go with driftwood. I was going to, but you know what? I kind of like this layout. I kind of want this red tiger lotus to be the centerpiece. Tank's got pretty much all the same fish. I have about 8 glow light tetras. Again, these are not those glow in the dark fish. These are basically just called glow light tetras because they've got an orange like kind of line across them. And then I have another 8 to 10 ember tetras, which will probably become one of my favorite fish. These guys all just, if you see the ember tetras, they all hang out together. They're a great schooling fish. Very active. The glow light tetra is not as active. However, again, they've only been in this tank for a day, but eventually, once the plants get a little taller and they get more comfortable, they basically start shoaling with each other, and they're very active. Other than that, I have 2 Amano shrimp in here that are not full grown. I hope they survive. They were in the other tank. And I have 3 Autosynclus. There's 2 on the wall there, and the other one is, I'm going to move slow, is on the wall don't know if you can see him over here. This is a new plant I picked up today that's in the back right corner from my local fish store. Some kind of wisteria, he said, or something. I'm not really sure. But I kind of like how it has that frosted leaf look. And then, listen, I love filtration. I totally went overkill. This is an amazing filter, and it's actually not expensive. I think I've had every brand filter on the planet. Of course, I have I had a fluval 206 and a fluval 307 canister filter. I just didn't want to do a canister here. This is my bedroom, and I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of done with the maintenance on the canister filters. And I know they can run and run and run for months, but you know, when you release, when you do the hose lock to release the hose, some water spills out. And, you know, this is my bedroom and it's carpeted, and I really don't want that. And I got to be honest, what I love about these filters is Quiet Flow, Aqua and Quiet Flow 20s, which are basically rated for 30-gallon tanks, and I know I have two of them, is the flow is extremely calm. They do 125 gallons per hour, but they've got this really interesting setup. This is a big Purigen that I don't know if I'm going to keep this in here, but really interesting setup where they have these plastic grids that are basically for your biological, you know, like your biomedia. Instead is this plastic grid. Then you've got this, which is also these like brooms, and the water trickles out here. And so it really calms the flow going into the tank. And then this block, this is an ammonia reducing block. They also have a phosphate and a carbon block. Now, if your tank is cycled, you certainly don't need or shouldn't have, you know, really any of these. But I don't know. I just figured, you know what? It can't really hurt. And so anyway, and you don't have to buy these cartridges, which, of course, you would just pull this out and replace the cartridge. However, I'll show you guys a little trick on my other one. I didn't mod this one yet. But on this one, that is not a cartridge, okay? That is basically, I cut the, let's see if I can do this. I cut the existing foam out, and now that's just a foam pad sandwiched between. And then between that is a extremely, something like a 100 micron piece of filter material that I put in there also, which that'll probably clog in a couple days, so that little piece I have to take out. But basically, you never have to buy these replacement cartridges from them. And then this little LED light is really cool. And what happens with the light is you see these two little metal connectors. When the water right there gets too high where it's overflowing and not going through the filter, that red LED starts to flash. So it actually legitimately will tell you when you need to rinse or change out your filter media. So I love how calm the flow is. Now, I'm going to pause this for a minute. Now, my other tank, I have a Title 55, okay, which does have adjustable flow rate, but look at the flow on this thing. I mean, you know, this is really disturbing the water big time. You can see it. Again, I had a fluval 307 on here. I had a problem, and I as of right now, I took it off. This tank is going into a big transition. You can see it's totally overgrown. I turned off the CO2. That was kind of my plan here, was to get the plants to just kind of grow like crazy, grow wild. I haven't trimmed it. And then I'm taking cuttings from this and putting it into my other tanks. All right, back to this. And then soon I'm going to redo that tank. So if you see back here, a lot of the plants from this tank basically came from that tank. So anyway, this is my new setup. I'm actually totally loving it. It's odd that it seems larger than the other tank outside is a 28-gallon bow front. This one seems like a bigger tank. Same length, almost the same height. The bow front actually comes out, but it just, I don't know, you wouldn't know it, that it's a 20-gallon versus the bow front. But anyway, that's my new setup. So say goodbye to the 10-gallon angle view. And I'm going to show you one more tank I have, my fluval Spec V. Okay, my last tank is an update on my fluval Spec V. Now this thing is producing orange shrimp like it's a breeding factory. They are kicking butt. This plant I have to trim. I didn't trim it today. I did trim some of the fern, but I really like that dense vegetation. You can see there's a pygmy Cory cat hiding out down there. There's shrimps everywhere. I mean, there's baby shrimps. There's a baby swimming across the top. There's just shrimps all over this tank. There's so many babies, and which is really what I was looking for. I'm gonna go around to the other side. There's the front view. Sorry for the bad angles here. The other side here, everything's growing nice and dense. Obviously gonna trim these red plants. I did replant some of these red plants on the other side. If you look in those leaves, you see the baby shrimp hanging out up there in the leaves. There's just shrimp everywhere. Here's a little baby face to face with a dwarf pygmy Cory. So my goal is to start moving orange shrimp. These are a Neocardina orange pumpkin shrimp, and I'm gonna move them to the big tank once that's a little more established. So I think this tank is doing fantastic. I am having a problem with the pump, and believe it or not, the pump chamber on this tank is smaller than on the fluval Spec 2, which is only a 2.8 gallon. I can't even fit that pump into this pump. This pump is stopped already. There's a new pump. It's already stopped twice. So I have to call Fluval tomorrow and see if they'll send me a replacement pump. But anyway, this tank is doing really, really well. You can see the plants are doing good. Again, 0 plant fertilizer. This has nothing but sand in it. Okay, and look at the plant growth. Look at it. I've never fertilized this tank. Look what's going on with these plants. Okay, huge. So don't let anybody, tell you that you need these crazy. I need these aquascapers using dirt and all sorts of crazy substrates. You don't need that. You just need. You can grow plants in plain sand. Now, obviously, if you want a planted tank, the focus is really on the plants. You're gonna want to put some type of planted substrate in there, maybe under your sand. But the plants are doing phenomenal. I've got to trim this. Again, those are the reds. You see they're growing like crazy. The moss is doing fantastic. It's made its way all the way down. It's nice and lush green. I don't know what's up with my mystery snail. I'm hoping he's not dead. He's been sitting like that for about an hour. Hopefully he's asleep. But you see the shrimps. And it's funny, I took out the rocks that were in front. I know some people commented about how there's not a lot of space. There's not a lot of room in this tank, and there's not. I do have some chili rasboras here, some nanofish. But I took out those rocks that were in here. I put a couple pieces of dried leaves and kind of left this as a space, so that the dwarf Corys and whatnot can hang out. And it ended up turning into the shrimp meeting place at night. And you see all the shrimp that are in this spot? At night, I turn a light on, and there's shrimp everywhere. Look, those are shrimp on the glass. There's probably 20 shrimp in this spot. But I am feeding the shrimp. I'm dropping these shrimp vegetable pellets in. They're little flat pellets. So I dropped 3 of those in at the top. They drop down to the front. That may be why all the shrimp are congregating here, because that's where their dinner spot is. I do have the little glass Petri dish, but you know what? I don't really, it just looks weird in there. It looks fake. But if you look there, you can see that's the food. Let's see if I can get the picture. Those round discs that the shrimp are hanging out on, those are the pellets that I just dropped in. So again, this is just going beyond what I even hoped for. I just want that other tank to get more established, and I want some of these baby shrimp to get a little larger. There's another baby swimming around. And then I'm going to start offloading orange pumpkin shrimp into the big tank and let this be my little breeding factory. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with everything except the fact that this pump is just not been consistent, which is very odd for Fluval. So I'm hoping that Fluval will send me a replacement. Anyway, that's it. That's my update. Just go back to the 20 gallon for a minute. So for this, I'm using Seed Chem Stability every day to assist with the cycle. I'm also using a Flourish Excel, which even though it's a plant, it's supposed to give plants carbon, it really kills algae. So I don't, I don't want to get black hair algae or any algae blooms on this tank. So if I have found that if I add Flourish Excel to an aquarium, it basically stops any algae from really growing. And then I am using API Leach Zone, which if you guys don't use this, let me tell you something. I've used a lot of different plant fertilizers. API Leach Zone is the bomb. I mean, the plants suck it up. It does not cause algae blooms as long as you follow the directions. You'll get a feel for how much to put in the water as your plants grow. You'll kind of see as the plants grow, they need more and more, and you can really fertilize fairly often without running into algae issues. So anyway, I'll keep you an update soon. But again, 10-gallon angle to Yukon. Hello, 20-gallon high over filtrations, but again, these are fantastic filters. So I'm actually thinking when I redo my bow front tank of switching out that Tidal 55 because it's just makes too much current, and going with two more of these. These are only $27 on sale on both Amazon and also Petco. I got one from Amazon, one from Petco. Really impressive filters. Again, no issue with priming because you can see the pumps are actually in the tank in the water. So that's my update. I'll do a little zoom in so we can take a look at the fish for a minute because that's why we're all here. We're all here because we love fish. So a little zoom in, and I will update. I'll do another video when I redo the big tank, probably next week. I want to buy some driftwood, and that's going to be a big project to overhaul my 30-gallon just because it's so densely planted. I got to pull everything out and replant everything.